Hi guys, today I will be presenting the Acronis Cyber Cloud platform. My name is Damon Giddings and I am one of the solutions engineers here at Acronis. I'm briefly going to tell you a little bit about Acronis and then run through what we offer in terms of solutions and present a brief demonstration of the Cyber Cloud platform. So who's Acronis? Acronis is a Swiss-Singaporean leader in cyber protection. We were founded back in Singapore in 2003, where our international headquarters are now based. We do, however, have corporate headquarters based in Schaffhausen in Switzerland as well. That has been based there since 2008. In 2020, we are experiencing exceptional growth, indeed over 300 million in billings, with our cloud business growing more than 100%. Among Acronis' customers are 100% of Fortune 1000 companies, and since the company was founded, over 50,000 partners have transacted with Acronis. There are over 500,000 corporate customers and over 5.5 million prosumers and home businesses. So Acronis is a global leader with 1,500 employees in 33 locations worldwide, and our products, they're available in more than 150 countries and are localized to over 30 languages. Furthermore, Acronis has 17 data centers in 11 countries and is adding additional data centers throughout 2020 and 2021. So what does Acronis do? Acronis unifies data protection and cybersecurity to deliver integrated and automated cyber protection that solves the safety, accessibility, privacy, authenticity, and security challenges of the modern digital world, with flexible deployment models that fit the demands of service providers and IT professionals. Acronis provides superior cyber protection for data applications and systems with innovative next-generation antivirus, backup, disaster recovery, and endpoint protection management solutions. So I'm going to run through what cyber protection means from an Acronis perspective. And as a global cyber protection leader, Acronis has core technologies that, when combined, ensure we deliver on our cyber protection methodology, SAPAS, which I'm going to touch on briefly in the next slide. So Acronis presents a solution to the challenges of protecting the digital world, cyber protection. There are what we consider 5 vectors of cyber protection. We have safety, so that's a reliable copy for recovery. We have accessibility, the ability to access the copy from anywhere at any time. Privacy, so that's complete control over the visibility and access to the copy of that data. The authenticity, which is proof that copy is the exact replica of the original, and security protection against cyber threats. Providing complete protection requires a balancing force for all 5 vectors. The balanced approach allows us to get the benefits of cyber protection, as all protection scenarios are integrated within the one solution. The first of these solutions is essentially what underpins the Acronis solution, Acronis Cyber Cloud. It's a platform that enables service providers and IT professionals to deliver cyber protection in an easy, efficient, and secure way. With one SaaS solution, you and your customers gain access to hybrid cloud backup, disaster recovery, AI-based ransomware protection, file sync and share technologies, and blockchain-based file notarization and e-signature services, all managed from a single console. The premise is to deliver these technologies through one product, one console, and one agent. In terms of where we can store your data across the globe, you have options, and today we have 12 dedicated data centers, so those are Acronis data centers, plus we have a further 5 Google and Azure partner instances. However, Acronis has a plan to push data centers out over the next 12 months to all corners of the globe. Another core technology within our solution is backup. So Acronis Cyber Backup Cloud protects any virtual, physical, and cloud environment. We can protect any workload. So from cloud workloads, think of virtual machines, Microsoft 365, G Suite, Microsoft Teams, websites, From an on-premise perspective, we can protect physical, virtual, applications and mobile devices as well. And where can we back up to? We can back up to any storage. Cloud options are Acronis Cloud Storage by default, the Google Cloud, Azure, AWS, could be your data center or third-party cloud storage. On-premises options, however, are Acronis Cyber Infrastructure, local disks, NAS or SAN. So as you can see, we're largely storage agnostic. Acronis Cyber Protect. Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud, a unique solution within the industry today, illustrates the power of integration. It is a unique integration of backup with full stack, next generation, anti-malware protection and comprehensive endpoint management tools. This synergy eliminates complexity, providing a holistic and layered defense against cyber threats through proactive measures including vulnerability assessment, patch management, URL filtering, antivirus tools, anti-malware and anti-ransomware technologies, as well as backup and disaster recovery technologies. These combined technologies working in harmony are backed up by a central reporting and health performance and monitoring interface, a game-changing solution. Just following on from the previous cyber protect slide, just trying to explain the layer protection here. First of all, we have the proactive element, which is preventative. So that's vulnerability assessment and patch management, machine learning, predictive analysis of drive failure. Active, which is detection, and that's protection against malware, behavior, heuristics, detection of memory-based attacks, which is machine learning, entropy analysis, injections detection, and self-protection. And finally, we have the response, the reactive, the post-execution technologies, which is data backup and restore, disaster recovery, and remote monitoring. So as you can see, Cyber Protect is about combining all of these technologies into one holistic defense against cyber threats. Another key part of our technology is disaster recovery. Disaster recovery with the flip of a switch. It's easier than you think. It really is. You can protect your workloads when disaster recovery strikes by simply spinning up systems in the Acronis Cyber Disaster Recovery Cloud, and this can be done instantly. You can design and launch a service on your own or through one of our trusted service providers. If you're an existing partner, you can enable it with the flip of a switch, and you can add disaster recovery in a matter of minutes. It's purely a case of taking an entire machine backup and spinning up in the Acronis cloud. There's nothing else to install and no additional hardware is required. And we're minimizing complexity. There's no need to add, learn or manage another platform or vendor. It's one solution for any workload. It's one part of complete cyber protection service from a single user interface. Acronis Cyber Files Cloud. This provides Office and mobile users with safe file access and seek and share technology in an easy-to-use, complete and secure hosted cloud solution. Easy to sell and implement, Acronis Cyber Files Cloud expands your product portfolio and helps you quickly attract new customers. The industry's strongest security and controls is embedded within this technology. We provide secure methods for users to share content across any device. In-transit and on-device encryption, including FIPS 142 certified encryption for iOS, provides user controls for working with files and folders on your device, and it offers an enterprise-class audit trail to manage users, applications, and data. We have deep functionality to improve mobile employee productivity. It empowers users to work on files using popular mobile devices, Macs and PCs. It integrates with native Microsoft Office mobile apps for maximum editing power and file control. It even offers powerful PDF annotation and editing, turning the mobile device into a true business platform. Acronis Notary Cloud. Acronis Notary Cloud is a blockchain-based service for file notarization, e-signing and verification for businesses of any size. It allows you and your customers to ensure the integrity of their business-critical data, whilst achieving regulatory transparency and decreasing security risks. We take a file, we generate a unique hash of that file and distribute that hash through Ethereum blockchain, which can be at a later date recalled. Trusted blockchain technology, the distributed nature of blockchain technology removes the risk of fraud and tampering, so it's easy to demonstrate the authenticity of a specific file. That could be security footage, for example, or a legal document. Acronis cyber infrastructure. So Acronis cyber infrastructure underpins the entire Acronis infrastructure. It's the foundation for all Acronis cyber platform products. Acronis cyber infrastructure supports Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, AWS cloud services with full support of S3 protocols. Cyber infrastructure is packed with new features that improve the performance, manageability, and availability of storage clusters and running cyber protection workloads. Essentially, it's a way to quickly and easily transform industry standard hardware into flexible, reliable, highly available IT infrastructure. It's a cost-efficient way to create a universal and scalable IT infrastructure solution that allows you to provide software-defined block, file, and object storage. From a developer's perspective and ISV perspective, we have something called the Acronis Cyber Platform. The Acronis Cyber Platform, as you can see, enables cyber protection for any workload, all data applications and systems, and what we want to do is extend that to our partners, ISVs and developers. With the Acronis Cyber Platform, developers can integrate and extend applications and services with cyber protection solutions while connecting and selling them with the Acronis community of 50,000 plus channel partners. As we can see here, it clearly states that the Acronis Cyber Platform is the foundation of our existing services and features all of which are built on a series of APIs. With the Cyber Platform, we're opening these APIs up to partners and supporting them with SDKs and sample code designed to encourage customization, integration, and the extension of cyber protection. Third-party services can also be integrated and/or offered in the Acronis Cyber Cloud Solutions portal. The Acronis Cyber Platform APIs and SDKs enable developers, ISVs, and MSPs to customize, integrate, and extend their applications with Acronis Cyber Protection Solutions. So as we can see here, we have APIs and SDKs. We have a great developer portal. We have the ability to provide support and professional services within the development community. We have an extensive partners network. We have a solutions portal and a solutions catalog evolving to a marketplace, and an ecosystem, essentially where distributors, resellers, service providers, ISVs, and customers can exchange ideas and development knowledge. The Acronis Cyber Platform APIs and SDKs is a customizable and extensible cyber protection platform. And as we can see here, we're detailing data sources, so that's the SDKs. This allows developers to write plugins that enable the protection of any data source like SaaS application datasets, server applications, IoT, or any other data source into our platform. The Services SDK. This supports the integration of qualified third-party services into the Acronis Cyber Cloud. The Data Management SDK. This enables data in the platform to be managed, transformed, searched, compressed, scanned, appended, and a great deal more. The Data Destination SDK. This permits data to be stored in a wide variety of destinations, including the Acronis Cyber Cloud, private clouds, public clouds, on-premises storage, or software-defined storage or hardware appliances. Last but one slide now, a little bit more information around the Acronis developer network and the platform technology in particular. So the Acronis developer network is a one-stop portal for developers, ISVs, and MSPs. And what we can find there at this URL is essentially interactive API documentation, code samples, libraries in different programming languages, access to a sandbox for testing, and the Acronis Cyber Platform community, which is extensive. Lastly, the Acronis Solutions portal. Find apps and integrations from Acronis partners. And again, you can find it at the corresponding URL here. What's available? A catalog of available integrations by category, description of each solution with information on use cases, features and screenshots, a request for demos, free trials and app downloads, and the ability to view the terms of service and support information. So that concludes the slide presentation for Acronis Cyber Protection. Now I'd like to show you the Cyber Cloud platform, its basic architecture and how to protect a device. What we're looking at here is a browser, Microsoft Edge, and what I'm going to do here is access the Cyber Protection console. The solution itself is cloud-based. The way we access that is essentially through a browser. Any browser, we're browser agnostic, and all I need to do is pop in the cloud URL, which is cloud.acronis.com. This takes me to the logon page. That's worth noting as well. This is username and password, but we do have two-factor authentication options on the platform as well. What we can do here is use Microsoft or Google Authenticator apps to log in as well. I'm not using two-factor authentication today for speed. All I'm going to do now is enter my username. There we go, MSP, Giddings. There we go. Click on next. Pop in my password. There we are. Now, when we first log into the platform, now bearing in mind with a typical implementation of Acronis Cyber Cloud, there's nothing to install on premises other than agents on workloads. The only time we do not utilize agents on workloads is when we're talking about G Suite or Microsoft 365 backup, which is a purely cloud-to-cloud technology, and it's based on open authentication. So it's a token-based system, and all we need to do is put our global admin credentials in for those particular use cases. So when we first log in, this is what we're looking at here is the Cyber Cloud platform. And what we can see in this area here is a list of what Acronis refers to as tenants, basically. So each one of these tenants is a customer, essentially. Now, when we first log into the console as an administrator, we are immediately taken to the management side of things. This is very much the management portal. So there's two distinct areas on the console. We have the management area, which is essentially where we are now, but we also have the application console. The application console is where we can configure our backups and configure antivirus and anti-malware, and it's where we protect our workloads. So I'm going to quickly have a tour of this particular console. And as I mentioned, all of these down here on the left hand side are what we refer to in Acronis as tenants. So each one of these represents a customer. And we have two types. We have partners, as we can see here by the tower block. So the partners can basically, it's a hierarchical platform. So then they can have their own customers underneath them as well. But we also have direct customers here as well. And if I want to see what these customers have available to them in terms of the solutions, the Acronis options, if I click here, for example, on Acronis DG Cyber Protect, what it does do is it lists what this customer has at their disposal. So what options do they have from the solutions portfolio? We have the ability here from a data sources perspective to back up workstations, servers, virtual machines, as we can see Microsoft 365. And if we scroll down, it shows us the rest of the options here, including G Suite, but also it tells me that we have backup storage here. So this is the Acronis Cloud Storage, and it tells me my consumption. And here it also gives me some headline information about the disaster recovery environment as well. It tells me how much backup storage, disaster recovery cloud storage I'm using here as well. There's a few other options here as well. It gives me an overview of my consumption in file sync and share, so the Acronis Files Cloud. It tells me a little bit about physical data shipping. So physical data shipping is the ability to do a backup, an initial seed to a hard disk, and then send that to your Acronis data center, at which point the data will be uploaded, and it just saves the pain of enduring slow seeding from poor uplinks. And if I click on configure as well, this gives me the option basically to determine what particular offering I would like to align to this particular customer. As we hear, it says Cyber Protect Edition. Cyber Protect Edition is the ability to back up your workloads, but it also adds antivirus, anti-malware, URL filtering, patch management, and so on top of that solution. The Cyber Backup Edition it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a very comprehensive backup solution, but it does without all of the cyber protection offerings. So essentially those are the two offerings we have available. It also indicates that yes, I have file sync and share enabled, and also Notary I can enable here if I wish just by hitting this green slider, and that will give me the ability to notarize my backups if I wish. And I can do this for any of the customers that are listed here as well. Now, this is the Clients tab. We have a Users tab as well, so I can go and create users, administrators, and users. Administrators have access to both the management and the application console, and the users have the ability to log into the user console. We have reporting as well, comprehensive reporting. We have an operations tab that produces a report that reflects all of the activity on the platform. We have an audit log. And this is a chronological list of all activity in the management side of things of the console. So it's people signing in and out and us creating customers or enabling or disabling functionality. And all of this can be enabled by API as well. Settings. This is the ability, basically, I can change my branding, I can change my storage. I've got a list of my API clients here as well. I've got security options that I can implement on the platform, such as login controls, so I can specify a public IP address that only this console can be accessed from. I can enable two-factor authentication. I can disable support access. This prevents anybody from higher up in the hierarchy than me having access to my environment. They will have access to see my consumption in terms of how much data I'm accumulating, how much storage I'm using, how many seats I'm using, and so on, but they won't actually get to have a look inside my console. And lastly, we've got the integration piece here as well. So these are basically default implementations for our APIs, basically, that we have excellent integration with ConnectWise, for example, Odin, cPanel. And as mentioned previously, in terms of the APIs, we have the RESTful API here as well. And we have many, many more APIs and SDKs that you can utilize through the Acronis developer portal. So I'm going to jump back up here to the Clients tab. And what I'm going to do now is jump into another console. And as it's a hierarchical platform, I can select any of my customers here and I can go in and have a look and see what's going on. So if I click on DG Cyber Protect here, what I have here is my customers management console, and again what it does is it illustrates how much I'm consuming. Not much, as we can see here, 3 gig. It also tells me a bit about the Cyber Protection edition that I'm running in terms of how many seats I'm consuming and so on here for Microsoft 365, how many workloads, how many workstations, how many servers, and so on, all illustrated here in one easy to read console. Local backup tells me how much local backup I'm consuming, and it also tells me a little bit more about my edition here as well in terms of my backup storage, disaster recovery storage and consumption and so on. So all I need to do now to go into the application console is click on Manage Service. Okay, there we go, it's refreshed. So what we have here is the application console. Now in the application console, what I have is the ability to protect my devices. Here is the dashboard, and this illustrates key parameters that are taking place in my environment. I have alerts. I have no alerts, which is good, of course. Activities, it tells me basically all the activities that are taking place in the console from a backup. So an operational perspective, applying the backup plans, cleaning backups. We also have something called the threat feed, and this is generated by something called the Cyber Protection Operations Centers. Now there are 3 of these spread across the globe, one in North America, one in Europe in Switzerland, and one in Singapore, and they're looking for real-time threats basically. And as those real-time threats, they could be environmental, or it could be a latest strain of ransomware, would all appear here. If I click on my devices tab here, this is basically where all my devices live. So as I add an agent to a device, it will appear in the console here. And for example, if I take this system, I click on here, it automatically gives me options. It says it's not protected, it's never had a backup. So what I can do is enable a backup very, very quickly and easily here. So if I click on Protect, what I need to do is create something called a protection plan. So I click on Create Protection Plan. and I have some options here. This is to give that holistic protection offering. Now, it's made up of backup, it's made up of antivirus and anti-malware protection, it's made up of URL filtering, vulnerability assessment, patch management, and the data protection map. So have a look at my backup options here. I have the ability to protect this server either as an entire machine image, disk volumes, files, folders, or system state. So I'm going to stick with entire machine image. We have the ability to utilize something called continuous data protection. Continuous data protection will back up changes in real time that a user is making, such as with Word documents or applications or other files and folders. These can be selected here. Where to back up? I've got options here. I can put it to a local location, or I can add it straight to my cloud storage location with the Acronis cloud. And if I want to add another location, I just add a location here. I'm going to stick with cloud storage. I can schedule it at any time. So it says here Monday to Friday at 16:15. I'm happy with that. How long to keep? I've got lots of options in terms of retentions. It can be by backup age, it can be by number of backups, or we can keep the backups indefinitely. So I'm just going to stick with 6 months. But there's no limit here at all. You can just stretch it out or keep backups indefinitely, as we've said. So I'll click on done there. I'm happy with that. Encryption, we always recommend that you enable encryption on your backups. And if I enable encryption here, just pop in a password there. There we go. I've got 3 choices of AES encryption. I'll go for the most secure, which is 256. Click on OK. It just takes a second or two basically to apply those settings, and I will continue on down my list. We have the application aware backup here as well, so we can back up Exchange and SQL in an application aware format. And we also have many other options under the backup options tab here, as you can see, anything from compression ratios to error handling to forensic options as well. We also have down here, and I can enable or disable any of these options here. So for example, I can determine that this protection plan doesn't have antivirus and anti-malware applied. I'm going to stick with it. This gives me a full antivirus, anti-malware and anti-ransomware engine enabled for this particular workload. I have URL filtering, so I can enable URL filtering basically by categories if I want to, or it references a database of existing threats and current threats basically. So it's constantly looking for malicious URLs. If I go to vulnerability assessment next, this is one of those proactive measures. So vulnerability assessment, we reference the common vulnerabilities exposures database, and we identify any of the applications or operating systems that are running on my workloads. And what it does is it scans those and it compares them with the database, and it flags up basically any vulnerabilities. So once I've run that scan, I can then patch those vulnerabilities using the patch management piece here. And again, it's Microsoft products, it's third-party products, and what we can do is either manually or automatically patch that system. And there is a metric within the industry that it takes 105 days from a patch being released to that being applied. So as you can see, once we combine all of these elements together, we have that holistic defense. We have one agent on one device looking at one console and one vendor basically, and one product. All of those things combined give you that holistic defense against cyber threats out there. All I need to do is click on Create. I can give it a name, but for this example, I'm going to leave it as New Protection Plan. Click on Create, and there we go. Now this protection plan that I've created, I can use it on this particular workload, this server here that I selected, which is DGI 2K16NFS, but I can also apply it to any of my other servers. So think of it as a template that I can utilize basically to apply to any of my workloads. And there we are. And if I want to, what I can do is just kick off a restore straight away. I can kick off a scan straight away. I've got lots of options here as well. And lastly, just to pick up on the other options available, I've got the ability here to enable disaster recovery on this workload. I've got the ability to recover the data. I've got the ability to connect to the live server via RDP, HTML5, or run a remote assistance schedule. And I've also got the ability here to detail the patches that applies to this system. But as you can see, I haven't run a scan yet, so there's nothing listed. I hope you found that interesting. That is essentially the end of the demo. If you'd like any more information, please reach out to the guys at Grey Matter and we can arrange a demo, or we can look into various components in more depth.